Hello guys, Jack here from Peach Guitars. Today is a very good day if you're a fan of Fender guitars, as we all are. We've just received our very first shipment of the brand new American Ultra Series. So for those who are unaware, the Ultra Series is replacing the outgoing American Elite Series, and they come with a few different upgrades, mainly to the playability as well as some of the aesthetics to the guitars. So I wanted to just take a few moments to run you through the range of what we've got in stock. Talk about the 3-core 6-string models, as well as touch on some stuff about the basses that are going to be new in the Ultra Series as well. So without further ado, let me start talking you through some of the brand new models. Okay, so let's start in the obvious place, which is with the classic 3 single coil setup for a Strat. They've made a few refinements to this guitar, which we have actually covered in a lot more detail in an entirely separate video when we first got our hands on the Ultra. But let me just talk you through some of the basics of this guitar. If you're familiar with the American Elite Series, you'll know that basically this was Fender's take on offering a real modern alternative to some guys that were looking for something that's an alternative to classic Strat designs. So they were really pushing the envelope in terms of technical advancements. Those are the first series of guitars to have their noiseless pickups, locking tuners, bigger frets, flatter neck profiles, and all that kind of stuff. So the Ultra really carries on this lineage. On this particular version of the Strat, you've got the brand new latest generation of their Ultra noiseless pickups. These are kind of vintage voiced pickups, so a little bit more clarity and headroom. You've also got the S1 switch, but they've changed the way it works slightly. Basically what it does is it activates the neck single coil, so you get some really cool combinations of sounds. You've got your standard Strat 5-way. When you push in the S1 switch, what you get on the bridge position 2 and position 3 settings is the addition of that neck single coil, so you get some really nice tonal variations there. They've also paid attention to, mostly I would say, the neck, so you've got a different neck profile on these guitars now. They're going for like a modern D-style profile, which is very, very comfortable, really nicely rolled fingerboard edges as well, so it's very smooth. You've got 22 medium jumbo frets on all the Strats. You've also got the locking tuners, so this guitar stays in tune absolutely perfectly. One thing they have done that I really like, on the maple fingerboard versions, it's more obvious. They've added this kind of vintage tint to it, so it actually looks a bit more like a vintage Strat, despite having all these modern appointments. So it's a really nice hybrid. I think they've just paid some really close attention to the stuff that people were asking for, and just made very subtle changes to the Elite Series, so that basically this guitar is going to appeal to even more players, so that's really good. Okay, so very similar, of course. This is the HSS version of the Strat. You get a few different options with the Strat family. Obviously 3 single coils, or HSS with a humbucking pickup in the bridge. You also get the standard maple and rosewood fingerboard combinations too that you can choose from. What's really nice though, in addition to the different changes, technical changes they've made to these guitars, they've taken the opportunity with the Ultra Series to introduce some fantastic new colours. So this one is a rather fetching Texas Tea, which is quite an ambiguous name, but in the light it kind of appears as several different shades of what I would describe as some kind of oily black olive kind of colour. Really nice colour though. So that's kind of, it's available in several different models, but I think it looks particularly fetching on the Strat. So a couple of tiny technical differences with the HSS guitar. Obviously you've got humbucking pickup, which is just their Ultra double tap humbucking pickup, and the single coils in this guitar are actually ultra hot versions. So a little bit hotter than the vintage models in 3 single coil guitars. So a bit of tonal variety there too. Okay then, so on to the other heavy hitter for the Ultra Series. This is of course the Telecaster. As I said before with the Strat, not much has changed from the Elite Series, but what they have changed again is that really comfortable D-shaped neck profile. You've still got the same 22 medium jumbo frets on this guitar, the locking tuners. You also still have the S1 switching on this guitar, and obviously it works a little bit differently with the Tele as opposed to Strat wiring. So basically, you have your standard 3-position Tele switch. The S1 switch on this particular guitar, basically when you're in the middle position, takes you from a parallel to a series mode. So you can have 4 completely unique tones. I think that's a really usable sound on all Telecasters. I do think they should all come with that, to be honest with you. The other really cool thing about the Ultra setup that they employ on most of their guitars, specifically the Strats and the Teles anyway, is that there's a no-load tone control. So when the tone is completely up, it means it's totally bypassed out of the circuit. So that's great for a Tele in particular on the bridge pickup when you really want that bright cutting, spanky kind of tone. This just pushes you that little bit further, gives you a tiny bit more output, and then as soon as you back off on the tone, it's an active tone control again. So really kind of clever technology to address a very simple little quirk, but I really like that. So this is a great guitar. Okay, so let's talk about the most unique and probably most exciting addition to this line. This is something that they haven't brought to this kind of level of their production line guitars before in terms of the real modern featured guitars. This is of course a Jazzmaster, so it's really great to see this for the first time in the new Ultra Series. And they've basically carried across all those fantastic appointments that they gave to the Strat and the Tele to the Jazzmaster setup. So you've got the same D profile neck, you've got the same 10 to 14 inch compound radius on this guitar, 21 in this case, medium jumbo frets, locking tuners. You've still got the classic Jazzmaster trem, but it doesn't seem to squeak and ping as much as a classic Jazzmaster trem would do. So it's actually a little bit more usable in that regard. They've also extended their new ultra noiseless pickups to the Jazzmaster pickup format. So that's really great to see, and it's great to finally play a Jazzmaster that doesn't hum at you while you're playing it. A couple of other really handy kind of player features on this guitar that I think really were overdue with Jazzmasters. So you've got actually 2 separate tone controls. Jazzmasters are traditionally very bright instruments, so it's great to have even more flexibility over how you're controlling the top end. You've got a tone and, for the neck and the bridge pickups independently. The rhythm circuit works a little differently on this guitar as well. So traditionally you would have basically the jazz rhythm circuit. When you activate the switch, you've got a dedicated volume and tone just for the neck pickup, which gives you a much darker, woollier tone. Not a lot of players use that. They've actually used this now for something much more useful, which is a phase reversal. So when you're in the middle position, you tap the switch up and you get the out of phase sound with the 2 pickups with independent volumes for the neck and bridge pickups to kind of adjust on the fly here. So that's a really great way to expand the versatility of a Jazzmaster, I think. And then obviously you've still got the standard 3-position switch down here with an S1 switch too. And the S1 switch, I believe, gives you the same parallel series option for the 2 pickups like you do on the Telecaster. One other really nice addition to this fantastic neck is this really cool black binding that runs down each side and actually goes past the nut, so kind of into the headstock. I think that's a really sleek aesthetic detail. It actually comes all the way around the bottom of the neck too. So it looks really sleek, this guitar. And something I must talk about, which applies to all of the 6-string electrics, is this fantastic new tapered heel. So they were kind of doing this with the Elite Series anyway, but they've pushed it a little bit further. It's now even easier and more comfortable to get right up to the top end of the fingerboard And again, to have this on a Jazzmaster format now is quite new and novel from Fender, so I'm really pleased that they've extended it to this classic design too. Okay, so moving on to the basses, which I did say we'd touch on. So this is the only one we've received so far, but we're looking forward to receiving the rest of the line. Basically, the Ultra Series encompasses two different jazz bass models, so this being the 4-string as well as a 5-string. There's also a P bass, which we're going to be getting shortly. So basically what they've done is, as they've done with the 6-string electrics, they've modernised all the great things about classic bass designs, but they've put in some really important practical player features again. So you've actually got the same kind of D-shaped neck profile, the same 10 to 14 inch compound radius on this guitar. You've also got the updated ultra noiseless pickups in this particular jazz bass. The P bass has got its own noiseless pickups too. And in traditional American Deluxe and American Elite format, these have the option to be passive or active basses. So you've got 3-band EQ, tone stack for the active mode, as well as just a passive tone control. So that's it for today. Thank you so much as always for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed it, please leave us a like and comment down below with your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Check out peachguitars.com for any more info you want on any of these Fender products. And as always, take care, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.